Rights Radio 101.1 FM, and this is the stadium. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, your 101.1 million capacity stadium, big enough to cover every sport under the surface of the sun, whether it be football, it be American football, whether it be soccer, according to the Americans, whether it be table tennis, whether it be badminton, rugby, dimbe, Tente, Ludo, what, you name it, we cover it here on the stadium. And of course, my name still remains Bucci. And like Liverpool, of course, I never walk alone. Mr. Floppy Hat himself, the prolific one, the number one strike force. That is my partner, Mr. Ted, is unavailably absent today. He's actually consulting for Russia 2018 on racism. You want to hear more about that? Yes, some more interesting facts coming out from Russia. Of course, on the stadium, we take you around the world in sports. We're going to go from Australia to Moscow, from Moscow to England, from England to the Americas, and of course, not forgetting Africa. So keep your dial locked here, because this is what we do here on the stadium. This is how we're going to kick off the day. And of course, before we dive in and go international and go globally to cover every sport there, let us first acknowledge our Falconets. Yes, the Under-20 Women's World Cup qualifiers is on the way, and of course our Falconets claim first leg win in South Africa. Now, Nigeria's Under-20 women's team, the Falconets, gave their qualification for this year for the FIFA's Under-20 World Cup in France a huge boost following their 2-0 away win against South Africa in their first leg qualifying playoff at the Polokawe that was actually on Saturday. That's today. Now, the 2018 Under-20 Women's World Cup will run from August 5 to August 24 in France, of course. And during the first half, goals from Rashidat Ajibade and Aman Imo bagged an impressive first leg win for the Nigerian girls. Now, after dominating in the early part of the first half, the Falconets deservedly took the lead in about 30 minutes through, of course, Ajibade, whose clever efforts went past the South African keeper. Then, of course, in the span of about 5 minutes, in the 35th minute, the Falconets doubled their lead thanks to Imo. Imo almost got on the score sheet again in the 55th minute, but her shot came off the crossbar. Unfortunate there. Unfortunate for the South Africans, but of course, fortunate for Nigerians. Of course, the return leg is to come up on the 26th of January 2018, with the winners on aggregate picking up one of Africa's 2 tickets to the Under-20 Women's World Cup. Of course, the other first leg playoff between Cameroon and Ghana is billed for tomorrow, Sunday the 14th, in Yaoundé. So, kudos to our girls, walking away with a 2-0 victory away from home. On aggregate, that's about 4 points. So, our girls, we say from us here in the stadium, we give you a big salute for representing your country and also coming away with a victory. What are your thoughts? Do you think that these girls should have made a good account of themselves? Do you think that there's room for improvement? Do you think with a qualification like this, do you think we stand a chance in the Women's World Cup, Under-20 World Cup holding up in France? Personally, watching that game and how they dominated that game, it looks like our Nigerian Falconets are set to go all the way. So a big salute to our girls. Now, EPL action, of course, happening. Going to give you more information on that as we give you scores and rundown of some of the matches. But before we do that, let's go to golf, where Rory McIlroy, of course, the former number 1 golfer, says heartbeat irregularity is nothing to worry about. Yes, Rory McIlroy has played down concerns over his health after revealing that he had a minor heartbeat irregularity. I think that there's actually a medical term for that. I think that's arrhythmia. I'm not entirely sure. If you're a doctor out there, you can actually call in and correct me, but I think that's about the medical term. Now, Rory McIlroy, of course, the 28-year-old says a recent medical checkup had revealed the issue, which he has described as not a big deal. In an interview, of course, with journalists, the world number 11 said that the abnormality may be linked to a viral infection he contacted about 18 months ago. Now, however, McIlroy says he's now fit and healthy and looking forward to getting his 2018 season on the way. Now, the four-time majors winner cut short his 2017 scheduled his 2017 schedule. He cut it short in order to undergo treatment for a rib injury, which he says has now healed, and news of his latest health setback has led to concerns over his plans for this year. Now, responding of course to the coverage of the interview, which the North Irishman posted on his Instagram account, he said, "Yesterday I did an interview with the Daily Telegraph where I spoke about a range of topics regarding the last 3 months of my life. I touched upon a recent finding from the routine health checkup and wellness check, and like anything, the deeper you dig, the more likely you are to find something. It revealed I had a slight heartbeat irregularity called a flat or an inverted T wave. It really is not a big deal and nothing to worry about apart from getting an annual checkup like you should always do anyways. But I feel there's been a big reaction to it in the media, which they recently said, or which recently I should not be. I'm fit, I'm healthy, and I can't wait to get my 2018 season started in Abu Dhabi next week." Of course, McIlroy is part of a strong field from the European Tour in Abu Dhabi Championship, where he will begin his preparations for the Masters. And the only major things that he needs to win is to complete his career Grand Slam, which is the only major he needs to win to get the full Grand Slam. Now, of course, the former world number one has indicated that he will compete in at least 7 tournaments before heading to Augusta in April. After taking in the Abu Dhabi Championship, he will play in the Dubai Desert Classic. He then plans to switch his focus to the PGA Tours, playing in 5 tournaments in 6 weeks, starting at Pebble Beach in February. Our hearts and prayers go out to Rory McIlroy. He says he's fine. He has a clean bill of health, and whatever health scares that are out there that are being rumored about him should not be a major concern because he is fit, hale, and healthy. Now, jumping into tennis, of course, Britain's number one, Joanna Konta, views do not align with Margaret Court. This is at the Australian Open. Of course, British number one, Joanna Konta, says her views do not align with those of Margaret Court, but if she's scheduled, she will play on the arena named after the 11-time Australian Open's champion. Now, of course, the stadium, which was named after Court, that's Margaret Court, in 2003 in honor of that achievement and her record of a 24 major title single. Now, of course, Margaret Court, who's 75 years old right now, her stance on transgender children and gay marriage has led to demands that her name be removed from the court. Now, Konta responded saying, "I don't agree with her. However, she's entitled to her opinion. But in terms of playing, if I'm scheduled to play at the Margaret Court, I will go out there and compete." See, it's not nice to be answering these sort of questions in the press. It's not really what the tournament is about. It's not what these sorts of sporting events are about in the first place. They are about equality. They are about showcasing men and women, wheelchair tennis, and the likes. And of course, it's celebrating tennis in all its glory. Now, Billie Jean King, a 12-time Grand Slam singles champion, said on Friday that the Australian, who is now a Pentecostal pastor, should have her name removed from the Melbourne court of the Australian Open because of her divisive views on sexuality. The American, 74, added that she would refuse to play on Margaret Court Arena where she's still competing. Asked if she agreed with the stadium should be renamed, Conta said it's a tennis Australia decision. It's unfortunate that this whole thing has even occurred because it does overshadow why her name is on the court. It's not because of her beliefs, it's because of her achievements in the sport. It's unfortunate. It's kind of it's a kind of messed up thing altogether when they're actually quite separate things. Now, what do you think about Margaret Court's appeal? Her stance against transgender and gay children. What are your opinions? What are your thoughts? You can call in, share that. You can also check us out live on our social media pages where we on the Human Rights Radio air all our programs live on social media. You can check us out on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. Like, subscribe, share with your friends, and leave a comment, because without your feedback, there is no us. Of course, this is still the Stadium on Human Rights Radio, 101.1 FM. What are your thoughts about some of the stories trending? We talked about Rory McIlroy, number one golfer, and his slight medical challenge, which he says is not a big deal. We also talked about Joanna Konta, England's number one tennis player, disagreeing with Margaret Court's views on transgender and gay children, but will feature in any competition even if she had to show up at the court named after Margaret Court. We also talked about our Falconets and their claim to victory, the first leg victory against South Africa, their South African rivals in the Under-20 Women's World Cup. 2-0 victory in South Africa today. Kudos to them. What are your thoughts about some of these sporting trends? Of course, leave your comments. And of course, we are going to open up the lines to you. And of course, we're going to talk about EPL action. Yes, EPL action back again in the news after about a week or so of taking care of business in the FA and also the Carabao Cup. EPL action is back in the news. A lot of games were played today. Some shocking results. In fact, some games are actually going on right now. We'll give you a full update on that. And of course, we will go to Russia, Moscow, where Sparta Moscow is stirring up some more criticism in terms of racism. This seems to be a trending and serious topic that seems to be prevalent with the Russia 2018 games. We'll take a deep dive analysis into racism and Russia. But the only way you're going to benefit from this is by keeping your dial locked here to Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM, and we will give you the full highlights and all the rundowns. We're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we're going to dive into the news, dive into depth, and open up the lines to you out there. Call in. What are your thoughts about some of the games that were played today? And what are your predictions for other games that will be played over the course of the weekend? Of course, my name is Bucci, and we'll be right back right after this. 101.1 FM, and if you can hear the sound of my voice, I'd like to welcome you back to the stadium. Yes, your 101.1 million capacity stadium, big enough to cover every sport under the surface of the sun. Of course, my name still remains Bucci, and like Liverpool, I never walk alone. Mr. Floppy Hat himself, Mr. Prolific Striker, the number one, Mr. Ted, is unavailably absent today. He's right now in England, actually test screening to become Tyson Fury's new dietitian to stop him from congesting or consuming any more uncastrated wild boar. The number for you to call in is still 081 8999 1011. I'll take it again, 081 8999 1011. EPL action is back. And of course, a lot of games have been played, and a few games are still on right now. What are your thoughts? What were your expectations about some of the results that actually are coming out today? Now, before we travel over to Moscow to handle the latest set of issues, because I don't understand. Something is always happening in Moscow. Either it's racism or anti-doping. One of the two things. Before we do that, I want to quickly report about Arsene Wenger. Arsene Wenger coming out to say, I'm not under any pressure to leave Arsenal before 2019. Now, of course, under pressure, Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger insists that he was still competent to do or to be in the Premier League club and had no plans to leave before the end of his contract at 2019. Ahead of Sunday's trip to Bournemouth, Wenger is under some pressure with his side sitting sixth in the table, 5 points behind fourth place Liverpool. Now, Wenger, who's 68, signed a new deal. He signed a new deal with Arsenal last year and said that he was as committed as ever to seeing out his contract. I did sorry. Let me backtrack. Let me backtrack again. Speaking as Wenger now. I ever walk away? Never. Should I change? He said. I'm always committed. I am here for 21 years. I just do in every single decision I make what is right for the club. If I stay for 1 or 10 years, is exactly the same, he added. If it's up to me, in charge of someone else, you can only do what is best for club, and that is what I try to do every time. That has nothing to do with my personnel situation. Now, Wenger has been in charge of Arsenal since 1996, winning 3 Premier League titles and 7 FA Cup trophies. Now, what do you think? As an Arsenal fan, do you think that Arsene Wenger has overstayed his welcome? Do you think that he has in fact, do you think that, you know, they say leave when the ovation is highest. Do you think that the ovation is still highest for him to leave? Do you think he still has what it takes, a few tricks up his sleeve to make Arsenal competitive again within the top 4 or the top 6 clubs? Arsenal 6 right now, with plans of maybe not even making it into the top 4, into Europe at this point in time. What do you think? Should Arsene Wenger stay on, see out the end of his contract, or should he bow out now and give or turn over the hands or the reins of Arsenal to a new coach? And even if he does, who would you suggest? Which coach would you suggest to take over Arsenal to see that legacy back to where it is? Call in and share your thoughts. The number still is 081 8999 1011. Now, moving on to Russia. Now, Russia doping, of course, there's been, of course, we all know about the doping scandal that has rocked Russian athletics and Russian sports, leading to them even being banned full out from Pyongyang, from the Pyongyang Games, the Winter Olympics coming up in February, and also from other sporting activities. We also had the Sochi event where they had a department, in fact, sort of like, imagine a government parastatal dedicated to doping. This is how big the scandal was. Now, of course, the whistleblower, the person who blew or put Russia in the spotlight with the doping scandal, That's whistleblower. That's Dr. Grigory Rodchenkov will testify, but his life is under serious threat. Now, the whistleblower whose evidence led to Russia's ban from the next month's Winter Olympic Games is preparing to testify against those involved, even though his life is under serious threat, says his lawyer. Now, former Russia anti-doping official Dr. Grigory Rodchenkov fled to the United States after his allegations about the state-sponsored doping program was leaked. Now, Russia was banned or has been banned from the games after Rodchenkov's claim were investigated, though athletes who can prove they are clean can compete as neutrals, not under the Russian flag, but under the Olympic flag. Now, the International Olympic Committee, the IOC, has handed life bans to 43 athletes involved in the doping program, although 42 of those have appealed in the Court of Arbitration of Sports, that's the CAS. Their case will be looked at, of course, in the coming weeks, and Rodchenkov's lawyer, Jim Walden, says his client will likely give evidence at their hearings. Now, his lawyer, further talking to reporters, went on to say that the threat to Dr. Rodchenkov, who has been the director of Russia's anti-doping laboratory during Sochi 2014 from Russia retaliation, needs to be taken very seriously. He added, "We know that Dr. Rodchenkov is at the top of Russia's hate list. We know that at least one of the officials has called for Rodchenkov's execution, but Rodchenkov is still preparing to testify at the CAS hearing of the athletes and that of the Russian Deputy Prime Minister and former Sports Minister Vitaly Mutko, who is also banned for his alleged part in the doping scandal." Of course, furthermore, he says that Dr. Rodchenkov is very focused on what he needs to do in the next several weeks. Now, Grigory is expected to testify at both proceedings. He's focused on preparing for that. After he gets through these, it's incumbent upon us to make sure that he is safe. Now, following previous claims that Rodchenkov also has information about doping in football, Walden told reporters still that FIFA, the sports world governing body, is considering whether to hire an independent investigator to look into claims that Russia allegedly staged sponsored doping programs, including football players. Now, Russia is hosting the World Cup this summer, which is why this kind of news or this kind of report is also very damaging. Though Mutko, Vitaly Mutko, recently stood down from the tournament's organization committee to focus on contesting his ban, there's still a lot of threats surrounding Dr. Grigory Rodchenkov's life. And of course, his lawyer is calling for better protection for his client as he gears up towards giving a full testimony. Now, this has been in the news for some time. This has marred sports in a lot of ways, and we here at the stadium, of course, do not stand or tolerate the use of performance-enhancing drugs or performance-enhancing substances towards enhancing a sporting activity or giving that edge, because it kills the sport. It gives you an unfair advantage over your competitors. Sports should be clean and fair. This is what we promote here: healthy living, clean sports. But then this has always been something that has permeated all other sporting events. We're not just talking about athletics, we're talking about cycling. And even now, with a report like this, maybe even football. At what point does one say, where do we draw the line? Where do we draw the line to say, look, doping cannot be tolerated? Yes, there's a lot of pressure on athletes. There's a lot of fame and fortune attached towards athletes and even countries who do well in big sporting events. But then, at what cost? To whose detriment? How does it help, or how does it change what the sporting world is supposed to be? When have we reached a point where the sweat and merits of hard work are now pushed aside through to chemical enhancements or drug ingesting some sort of drugs to make you a super athlete above other competitors? This kind of cheating needs to be stopped. This kind of chemical or dietary cheating needs to be stopped. We need to curb it so that we can enjoy sports in all its glories. We are human beings, and the sport is designed to test your boundaries. Test your boundaries and test your human capabilities to its limit. When you now have to use a crutch or assistant in the sense of ingesting some sort of drug or stimulant towards increasing your performance, you do not just only harm yourself, you're also harming the credibility of the sport and also robbing or marring the efforts of other athletes who have done their due diligence, done their homework, trained very hard to perform at their highest levels. So, what point we need in our lives to stand up against this kind of cheating, this kind of doping allegations and doping scandals, because these are the things that kill our sport. These are the things that also permeate and do not speak well of what should be attainable in sports, because the sweat and merits and work what it just says is that hard work and perseverance are no longer rewards anymore. It's he who has the biggest or the best drug or medical staff or drug enhancement wins, which should not be the case. We need to make a stand against doping in our sports in all levels. That's a passionate appeal from us here on the stadium. This is still Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM, and still in Russia. From doping, we move to racism. And of course, Sparta Moscow criticized for racist tweets about its own players. I don't know whether this is just systemic, or this is just something that the team were just ignorant about and shooting themselves in the foot. But a social media message containing racist references posted by a Russian club, Sparta Moscow, shows a shocking level of ignorance, says the chief of anti-discriminatory board, FAIR. That's fair. Now, what the tweet entails: Sparta tweeted a video of some black players playing in the sunny conditions with a message which translates from Russian, which says, see how the chocolates melt in the sun. Now, racism is one of the biggest issues Russia faces this year as they host the World Cup. Now, references like this show how some minorities are seen by some in the country. That was according to Pierre Power, who is the head of the anti-discriminatory board, FAIR. For Russia's biggest club to tolerate and then celebrate racist references of this kind is not just wrong, it is very, very wrong. Of course, they were sanctioned for Islamophobic chanting recently, but clearly the message has not reached the players or the club management. Of course, reporters have tried to request or get a response from the Moscow club, although nothing has come out yet. Now, anti-discriminatory body Kick It Out added that this social media post from the official account of Sparta Moscow only continues to highlight the prejudice towards black people in Russia. With the World Cup only a few months away, it is a reminder that Russia, as with the whole of football, has significant work to do in eradicating racism of all forms from the game. Now, as you remember, in September, Liverpool's Nigerian-born attacker Bobby Adekande was subjected to racist chants and gestures from Sparta supporters in Moscow during a UEFA Youth League game. The European football governing body, UEFA, charged Sparta, who had partially closed their academy stadium for their extra UEFA Youth League fixtures, leaving about 500 seats empty. Now, Sparta defender Leonid Mitronovov has also been charged with racially abusing Liverpool striker Ryan Brewster. The alleged incident took place during a UEFA Youth League game at Pennington Park, which Liverpool won 2-0 in December. And of course, UEFA said that the case will be dealt with by its Control, Ethics and Disciplinary Board, with a date for the hearing yet to be confirmed. Racism is another very, very key and important. It looks like I have a call. Before I continue, let me answer this call. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, good evening, my brother.
Yeah, evening. How is work?
Fine, thank you, my brother. Welcome to the stadium.
Hello.
Welcome to the stadium, my brother.
Thank you very much. How is everybody?
Everybody's fine. What's your name and where are you calling me from?
I'm William John, calling from Kaduna Road.
William John from Kaduna Road. How's Kaduna Road this evening, my brother?
Oh, Kaduna Road is fine.
All right, talk to me.
Yeah, I just called to wish you the best.
Ah, thank you so much, my brother.
Yeah, wish you all the best of the year.
All right, thank you so much, my brother. My brother, are you a sports fan?
Yeah, not much.
Oh, so that means you didn't catch any of the games that were played today?
Yeah, today I watched the ball.
All right, talk to me. Tell me about what game did you watch today that actually stood out for you?
Yeah, I watched Chelsea.
Okay.
Manchester City.
Chelsea and Leicester. What did you think about the game? Was the game satisfactory to you, or are you a Chelsea fan or a Leicester City fan?
No, I'm Arsenal fan.
Oh. That means you're going to watch the Bournemouth game tomorrow then, definitely.
Yeah, by God's grace.
All right then. Thank you so much, my brother.
All right. And in fact, just to make a comment about Eden Hazard.
All right, please go ahead.
That although the way he played today, it seems like he's showing a sign of saying that no matter what, he wants to leave Chelsea to Madrid.
Yes.
Because the way he played, he didn't put his confidence on the game, which is not supposed.
Okay.
But all the same, this is a sign for Chelsea to show that let them try by all means, even though he's not there. Let them provide others that are capable of taking his position.
Yes.
And the way that they play almost 68 minutes before the Leicester City got a red card.
Yes.
And still they played 0-0, which is very disappointed, and they are at home.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
All right, my brother. Thank you so much for your contribution.
Thank you. I hate all the fans of Chelsea. Let them try harder next time.
Yes, yes, my brother. Thank you so much for your contribution.
All right, thank you.
Have a fantastic evening. All right. This is still Human Rights Radio, 101.1 FM. And of course, this is the stadium. And we were talking about racism. Sparta Moscow actually releasing a racist tweet, a video with a racist tweet attached to it. There was mocking, or of course, you have to wonder about the kind of shocking level of ignorance. I mean, what was the board thinking? What was the official site thinking? To a degree, you have to. Let's put it this way. Let's put it in this context. Now, I don't think that they would do something like this on purpose. It just shows the level of ignorance when you put out this kind of a tweet or put out this kind of video online. When you have your black players training under the sun and you caption said video and say, see how the chocolate melts in the sun. Now, for a country who's about to host the World Cup, this doesn't inspire any kind of confidence when a major team like Sparta Moscow, one of the top teams in the Russian league, can exhibit this kind of ignorance towards players of African descent, that's black players. Now, it just baffles the mind when something like this comes out, especially on the heels of racism that we're trying to fight and stamp out in our game. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Good evening, my brother.
Good evening, sir.
Well done. Welcome to the program. What's your name and where are you calling me from?
My name is John.
How is Suleja this evening, my brother?
Very fine, sir.
All right, talk to me.
I have a small issue discuss with you personally.
Pardon?
Yeah, sir. Do you understand?
I didn't hear the last thing you said. Could you please repeat yourself?
Sir, are you hearing me?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
I want to talk to you, sir.
This is a sports program, so it depends. Unless it's something concerning sports, I don't know what else we're going to talk about.
Okay, can I call you back tomorrow?
I guess you want to speak with the ordinary president.
Okay, yes, sir.
I think the best time to actually call would probably be either in 1 hour's time. That's in
Okay.
1 hour's time, or you can try again tomorrow. But try calling this number back in 1 hour's time, and you'll be on with the ordinary president.
Okay, sir.
All right then. Thank you so much.
Thanks, sir.
All right. You're still tuned to Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM, and this is The Stadium, your one-stop shop for everything sports under the surface on the sun. And of course, my name still remains Bucci. And like I was saying, as we were talking about racism. Now, racism is a huge factor, and I don't understand what is going on, especially when we have the World Cup. I mean, you have people like players like from Man City who are actually coming out, Yaya Toure, who actually came out to say that he is willing to work with FIFA towards stamping out racism, especially when it comes to Russia 2018. Now, this has been a big factor, and for a club like this to make this kind of statement months before the World Cup, this does not inspire any kind of confidence that something concrete is being done towards curbing said racism in the world stage, or something as prestigious as the World Cup. Now, I understand that sometimes it could be just insensitivity, or even a lack of, or even a glaring stance of ignorance when statements like this are actually released. But where are we going to draw the line? When are we going to understand that when you judge or you make comments on a player based on his based on the color of his skin, it not just highlights your own ignorance, it also brings down the sport. And in a world where we live in a global village, where we are going beyond, especially in technology, and we cannot see ourselves as equals, as just the same human beings. It doesn't matter whether what the color your skin is, whether you're red, whether you're white, whether you're black, whether you're yellow. It doesn't matter what the color of your skin is. We are all human beings. We are all going through, we all have our hopes and our dreams. We all have our highs and our lows. And a person should not be judged or be made fun of or even subjected to any kind of racist remarks or slurs, because this kills the spirit of our game, especially when you have a team like this where you have black players who are actually playing for your team and trying to win matches for you. This does not inspire this kind of confidence, especially when it comes towards the World Cup. And so, all the governing bodies out there, we here at the stadium charge you to do the right thing. Whatever punishment needs to be meted out to this team, let it be meted out. So that we can see that there is a positive change towards solving this racist menace. This is still Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to dive back in and probably jump straight into the EPL. A lot of games were played today. We're going to give you a breakdown of some of the matches and open up the lines to you for you to call in and give your own opinions and thoughts about some of the games that were played. What do you think? Was some of the games what you wanted them to be, or was the results a bit shocking for you? Of course, don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Hotspur Everton match with Tottenham in the lead with 1 goal against Everton. 1 goal, 1-0. Tottenham in the lead. Son, the Korean international, scoring a fantastic goal. 1 goal ahead. Still halftime, still a lot to play for. And you're welcome back to Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. This, of course, is the stadium. And, of course, my name is Buchi. Now, moving on to that round leather game that gives a lot of people a lot of high hopes and dashes a lot of dreams. We're talking about football. And, of course, EPL action is back again this weekend. A lot of games being played. But before then, we're going to give you the report about Quique Sanchez Flores. That is, he's coming out to say Stoke City target happy at Espanyol. Of course, as we reported earlier in the week, the Espanyol manager, Sanchez Flores, has distanced himself from taking charge of Stoke City, saying he is happy at the Spanish side. Now, of course, the Potters sacked Mark Hughes last Saturday with the club in the Premier League relegation zone. Now, Stoke have held talks with Sanchez Flores this week, but the ex-Watford manager said on Saturday that here I have all I need. I am the coach and I will be. Of course, the Republic of Ireland boss Martin O'Neill is now bookmakers' favorite to take up the job at Stoke City. But of course, Sanchez Flores, who is under contract with the La Liga side Espanyol until 2019, but has a release clause in his deal. He of course was Stoke City's first choice to replace Mark Hughes. Now, I'm well and quite happy with my situation, the 52-year-old Spaniard added. I don't have to explain anything else. Of course, Derby County boss Gary Rowett was originally the leading contender to succeed Mark Hughes, but he signed a new 3.5-year deal with the Championship club on Tuesday. Stoke had hoped to have their new manager in place for the Premier League game against Manchester United on Monday, but now it looks like that is actually highly unlikely. Moving on to EPL action. Yes, Chelsea were held to a draw by Leicester City today. Of course, we had matches with Chelsea, Leicester City, Crystal Palace, Burnley, Huddersfield, West Ham, Newcastle, Swansea, Watford, Southampton, West Brom and Brighton, and of course ongoing game of Tottenham and Everton. Of course, Chelsea. What happened today? A 10-man Leicester squad produced an outstanding display to earn points with the third place Chelsea, although they should have probably even come away with a win at Stamford Bridge with all 3 points. Now, the Foxes dominated possession for large periods of time and created the better chances, but had the sting taken out of their sail when, when the defender Ben Chilwell received 2 yellow cards in the space of 5 seconds and 5 seconds. That's about 55 seconds in. Now, he was shown no mercy by referee Mike Jones in the 68th minute when he brought down Victor Moses shortly after fouling William. Now, Claude Puel's side went close twice through Jamie Vardy, while Wilfred Ndidi's header was acrobatically pushed away by, of course, Couture. Now, Chelsea looked laggardly and they looked short on ideas. Cesc Fabregas had 2 good efforts, twice testing Kasper Schmeichel's goal, and seconds from the end, Danish keeper pushed away a free kick from Marcus Alonso. Now, the Blues are now level on points with second place Manchester United, who play on Monday. Of course, Leicester have had about 31 points remain in the. They have about 31 points, which keeps them in the 8th position. And of course, like the caller actually calling has said, Chelsea just seem to be a bit lackluster. They seem to be out of ideas, and he even suggested that maybe Edwin Hazard might be considering his own exit. We've seen big exits from the EPL. We've seen Liverpool's Coutinho making signing on the dotted line to go to Barcelona. And of course, the rumor mill is still swirling around Arsenal's Alexis Sanchez. Could Edwin Hazard be the next person to pack his bags and baggages and ship out of Stamford Bridge. Now, of course, it was generally more timid of the two managers who got decided to play more exhilarating football at Stamford Bridge. Now, Puel had, of course, his side harried the Blues from the first whistle, and they had scored. They had a chance to score at least once, and more than 3 occasions. I think within the first 10 minutes. England striker, of course, Jamie Vardy, fit again after a groin problem, found the side netting and fired just wide. While, of course, Okazaki also missed narrowly after more initial good work from Vardy. Now, Mahrez has been the subject of rumors linking him with a move to Liverpool or Arsenal, but today his mind was clearly on the matter at hand. He was exceptional in the midfield and found Vardy twice with 2 exquisite passes, only for the striker to miss the target with 1 strike and see another blocked by, of course, Gary Cahill. Now, Leicester City's best chances of the match fell to Ndidi, whose instinctive header was brilliantly pushed away one-handedly by Couture. Now, of course, like we said, the Foxes looked set to turn the screw in midway through the second half, but had a change of their game plan when England's under-21 defender Chilwell was sent off for a second bookable offense. Nevertheless, the defense continued to look comfortable against a Chelsea's attack bereft with ideas. They just seemed to be firing blanks. No ideas, nothing creative up front. The only time that Schmeichel was severely tested was moments before the final whistle when, of course, he tipped Alonso's low kick out of the post. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Welcome to the stadium. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Welcome to the stadium. This is Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. What's your name and where are you calling me from?
I'm calling from Ado.
Ado, what's your name?
I'm Munirat by name.
Munirat calling from Ado. How is Ado this evening?
Ado is fine, sir.
All right, you're on to the stadium, a sports program exclusive to Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. Did you catch any of the games today?
No, sir.
All right, what can I do for you this evening?
Please, I wanted to complain. I was calling you people since last week, Wednesday.
Okay.
About lost and found goods. My goods was exchanged from Massacre to Ado.
All right.
I went to market. The goods was exchanged. That I was trying to get on you people since but it was not reachable.
All right. I think what you're going to do for me, Munirat, is you're going to have to call this number in about 1 hour's time. Somebody will be here to actually attend to your call. Is that okay?
Okay.
All right. Call in 1 hour's time. Also, we had a program, Lost But Found, around 2 o'clock this afternoon. Did you try and call in around then?
I tried more than 20 times. I didn't pick my call.
Of course, sorry about that. It's obviously the network, and it's one of those things. You know, there are a lot of people calling into the station at the same time. But call in about 1 hour's time. There should be somebody on the line who will be able to attend to your problem. Is that okay?
Okay.
All right, then. Thank you so much. All right. Have a fantastic evening. This is still Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM, of course, and this is the stadium. Now, of course, back to the matter at hand. Chelsea. What happened? What happened at Chelsea? The only chance that seemed to even come close was Alonso's low free kick, which of course was pushed out of the box. Now, I don't know whether to call it fatigue, whether fatigue played a part in this dispirited display, or I don't know whether Antonio Conte's suggestion he might not be at Stamford Bridge next season have anything to do with it. Now, this was Chelsea's 7th game in 21 days, of course, and they looked like a side that was, of course, sapped of energy. They looked very tired. Now, striker Alvaro Morata, who had a great first half of the season with 13 goals from 26 matches in all competitions, has not found the back of the net in the past 5 games, of course, in the past 5, and did not have one effort against even the Foxes today. Now, wingback Marcos Alonso and Victor Moses barely troubled the opposition's fullback, while, of course, playmaker Fabregas and Edwin Hazard were both replaced only 13 minutes into the second half. Now, But of course, bar two good saves. Bar two good saves denied by Fabregas. There was no need to be heroic from Schmeichel until the final seconds to keep Alonso out. This looked like an excellent chance for Chelsea to regain the second place position. Of course, now Conte's side have to pick themselves up for another 4 games in 14 days. Now, this was an excellent chance. Like we said, this was an excellent chance for Chelsea to actually jump in, take that second spot, but now they just sit level, same points with Manchester United. Of course, Manchester United had to have their game on Monday, and if they go through, of course, right now they're even still leading based on goal difference, but if it had gone through, if Chelsea had succeeded, they would have taken the second spot and put that pressure, maybe even have a fighting chance towards qualifying second, or put that pressure on Manchester United. Now Manchester United seem to be in the driving seat and might be able to even just walk away comfortably with that second position. What did you think of Chelsea's performance today? Do you think that this lackluster performance is a sign of fatigue shown by Chelsea players, or do you think they were just held by stalemate by a better team? Leicester City seemed to come in with all guns blazing and more prepared towards winning the match. Call in, share your thoughts. The number to call is still 081-8999-1011. Yes, another very interesting match happened today. West Brom playing Brighton Hove. Now, bear with me on this, because this match, something fantastic happened with this match. But before I go into the details of the match, let me take this call. Hello, good evening. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Good evening, my brother.
Good evening.
Welcome to the stadium. What's your name and where are you calling me from?
Sonny calling from Bagua.
Sonny calling from Guagua. How's Guagua this evening, my brother?
Cool and fine.
All right, talk to me. Did you catch any of the games today? All right,
I catch Chelsea, Leicester, that game, the information our coach started is very poor. By using Kahi for central defense. That's the poor statistic of the match, because you cannot use somebody that is weak to start at a middle of a defense, because the pressure of the attack, the information that they wanted to even play is for Chelsea to attack them.
Yes.
And they don't attack Chelsea. That's the big.
It looks like we lost that call. My brother, if you're out there, please call me back. You were making some very good points. But then also, aside from Cahill, what do you think? I mean, the whole team just seemed a bit lackluster. I mean, nothing inspiring from Edwin Hazard, nothing inspiring from Fabregas. Only, aside from Alonso's free kick strike, which was pushed out, and little efforts from Victor Moses and even Cahill himself. But Chelsea just seemed to be a team that just ran out of ideas, especially up front. Hello, good evening. Good evening, my brother.
Thank you. This is D1 on the line.
Mr. D1 himself, the prolific reporter striker extraordinaire. How are you doing this evening?
You are doing a great job.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my brother.
Yeah, I would like to quickly talk about the NPF that we have the quarter result today.
Yes.
The first match that was played today saw 4 goals in the first match. Katsina United played against Canopilla, and the game ended 2-goal apiece. Katsina United scored 2 goals, while Canopilla scored 2 goals. The player that scored for Canopilla, they are Chinedu Ajana, and Victor them. While we have Lokosa Junior and Alazan Ibrahim for Canopilla. At the end of the day, we saw the first player that got the red card for the season.
Yes.
The person of Mr. Dennis is a player of Canopilla. But it refers to that today's match is just like a pointer to the fact that we are going to experience a lot of goals when we eventually entered the NPFL 2017-2018 season.
Of course. Of course.
Maybe you quickly run down the matches that we'll be having tomorrow, so
Okay.
that we have it at the back of our mind.
All right.
Tomorrow, Abia Warriors will be hosting Mountain of Fire at Maya Township Stadium. We have Upper United against Enugu Rangers at Godswood Akabio Stadium in Guyo. FC Ifan Yuba also be training tackle with Yobe Desert at Ifan Yuba Stadium. We also have the newcomer Upland FC versus Sunshine Star of Akure. That game will come up at Dam Iron Stadium in the Wari.
Yes.
We have Kwara United, which happen to be the newcomer as well. They be playing against Magda Tornadoes at Kwara State Stadium Complex. Lobby Star of Makodi will be hosting a Yimba at Akeaku Stadium right there in Benue State. Everybody they are saying they should just let their mind be at rest.
Yes.
They should forget about what is happening and come out and where this interesting match between Lobby Star and Yimba.
Okay.
Then quickly read also that we have Nasarawa United against Plateau United, which is coming up at Lafayette Township Stadium. Yours truly will be there to cover the game between Nasarawa United and Plateau United right there at Lafayette Township Stadium tomorrow. We also have Rivers United against Kanene Warrior at Yakubu Gowa Stadium. And lastly, the last but not the least, the match for tomorrow is the Wiki Police against Santa United.
Okay.
Which will be coming up at their stadium over there. So it's going to be an interesting encounter. We are using this medium to tell all fans who can trip out to watch match to go there and enjoy themselves. Apart from watching EPL, you can also watch MPFL, which happens to be an interesting league in the whole world today. Lastly, Gucci, before we go tonight, I will let you know, let our listeners know as well that today our Super Falconet defeated their opponent in South Africa.
We actually reported that. It was the first piece of news we reported. They won 2-0.
Yes, definitely. So by the time they come back to Nigeria, it's just something that they just need to wrap the whole thing up.
Exactly.
That they can qualify for their 20 World Cup that is coming up later in the year in France. They are doing a great job, Gucci.
Yes.
Striking alone, but I can see that you are striking like Ronaldo and Messi combined together. Thank you very much.
Mr. D1, thank you so much. In fact, you're owing me some kind of kilishi, and the next time you come here, we're going to lock you inside the studio here. But Mr. D1, always a pleasure. Thank you so much. Yes, that was D1, the prolific one himself, giving us a rundown of the NPFL, which is a fantastic league. Our local league is something that we should always patronize and follow because they're doing a very, very good job. Organizers are doing their best, and a lot of fantastic game and a lot of fantastic matches are going on. So make sure you make it a date. Tomorrow, there's going to be a bumper weekend. This is the beginning of the season. Why don't you follow? If you can afford the opportunity, go down to the stadium, support our boys, and support our local league. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to dive into the rest of the stories we have this evening. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Again, dedicated to West Brom fans. It seems like the good times are coming around again as West Brom end a 20-match winless streak in the Premier League with a victory over Brighton thanks to goals from Johnny Evans and Craig Dawson. Yes, the unmarked Evans put the Baggies ahead early when he arrived at the back of the post to head a J. Rodriguez flick from the Matt Phillips corner. Now, the hosts added a second from another corner shortly after halftime when Dawson beat Gaten Bong to Chris Burnett's outswing and then headed home a powerful goal. Now, the victory was Alan Pardew's first in the league since he replaced Tony Pulis in charge of the Hawthorns at the end of November. The only negative from the Baggies was a bizarre gesture from J. Rodriguez that may land him in trouble. After an argument with Bong, Rodriguez pitched his own nose, prompting an angry reaction from the Brighton defender. Now, of course, referee Atkins did not take any action on the pitch, but made a note of the incident. And Brighton only fleeting and threatening chance against West Brom's goal as they made it 6 away games without a goal. So kudos to the Baggies, a big victory for them. They, of course, they are in the relegation zone, but the good times seem to be coming around again, and there might be hope for them to actually climb out because of the way the bottom league is stacked. There are a lot of chances for them to actually make it out of there. And of course, right now it's 65 minutes into the Tottenham-Everton match, and Tottenham are leading 3-0 against Everton. Of course, goals coming in from Son and 2 from the danger man himself, Mr. Harry Kane. 2 goals coming in from Harry Kane on the 47th minute and the 59th minute. 67 minutes in, of course, Tottenham leading 3-0. And with other matches played today, Leicester played, of course, a goalless draw. Crystal Palace had a victory against Burnley 1-0. Huddersfield losing out to West Ham 4-1. Big shout out to, of course, David Moyes, biggest victory for him right now. Newcastle held Swansea to a 1-1 draw. Watford held by Southampton to a 2-2 draw. And, of course, West Brom celebrating victory with a 2-0 win over Brighton. Of course, we have more games coming up. And as it stands right now, Man City, of course, leading the EPL with 62 points. Manchester United coming in close with a 47. Chelsea leveling up with Manchester United at 47. Liverpool coming in fourth with 44. Of course, sharing points right now presently with Tottenham at 44 points. Arsenal closing up coming in sixth with 39 points. Then it goes on with Burnley 34, Leicester City 31, Everton 27, Watford 26, West Ham 25, Crystal Palace 25, Huddersfield 24, Newcastle 23, Brighton 23, Southampton 21, Bournemouth 21. And of course, the bottom three, we have Stoke City 20 points, West Brom 19 points, and Swansea with 17 points. That's the much we can take on tonight's program on The Stadium. I want to thank everybody who called in to share their thoughts about games that they had seen and also their own opinions. I also want to thank the production team. I want to thank the boys in the IT department and the boys in the visual department for streaming us live and making me look this good. You can actually tune in to our program on your social media accounts, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch. Just check us out on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. Like, subscribe, leave your comments, and join the conversation, because without you, there is no us. Thank you all so much for listening. Of course, my name is Bucci, and here is wishing you a fantastic day. Let's do this again tomorrow, same time, same place. And of course, the lovely, lovely Queen Jane herself, my excellent producer, who is giving me the hand that if I don't give her a shout out, she's going to punish me. My madam, please don't punish me. Of course, here's wishing you a fantastic evening. Keep your dial tuned to Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM, because we have a lot of rich, entertaining, qualitative, educative, and entertaining programming for you. Don't go anywhere, and see you on the other side.